Who is Bugatti and why is he called Bugatti? Ettore Bugatti was an innovator and visionary who founded one of the most famous and prestigious Italian businesses in the world. He trademarked over 1,000 patents throughout his life as a result of his groundbreaking ideas, and he developed principles like aerodynamics and lightweight to improve vehicle performance. This year marks the 140th anniversary of Ettore Bugatti's birth. Therefore, let us learn more about the famous Italian innovator. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Having said that, let's get into the video. Arco Isidoro Bugatti, an Italian-born French car designer, created Type 13, Type 35, and Type 41. Born into an artistic family in Milan, he became an apprentice at a bike company where he produced his prototype. His second prototype landed him at Lorraine Dietrich in Alsace. At age 28, he founded Automobiles e Bugatti after designing cars in Molsheim. He designed the Bugatti Type 13 at age 29, but it wasn't introduced for 4 years. 7 years later, it won the Brescia Grand Prix. He also designed aircraft and rail cars. His business was decimated by the German occupation, and he died at 65. Ettore Arco Isidoro Bugatti was born in Milan, Italy, on September 15, 1881. Bugatti was a famous Art Nouveau furniture designer. He was a famous jeweler. His mother's name is Teresa. He was the oldest of 3 children. His siblings were Denis and Rembrandt. Rembrandt became a renowned animal sculptor. Ettore attended his father's alma mater, Accademia di Belle Arti di Brera in Milan, after finishing high school. But by then, he developed an interest in autos, having modified a motor tricycle he'd received as a present when he was 14. Recognizing his son's ability, his father quickly determined that he should receive traditional technological training. As a result, Ettore became an apprentice at Prinetti and Stucci, a Milanese company that produced tri- and quadricycles in 1898. Ettore Bugatti designed his first automobile, which had 4 engines, while still an apprentice at Prinetti and Stucci in 1899. The Bugatti Type I was never commercially constructed, but it sparked a lot of attention. In 1901, he developed his second prototype, his first 4-wheeled automobile, with the financial assistance of Count Culinelli. It was known as the Bugatti Type 2 and had a top speed of 37 miles per hour. In the spring of 1901, he showed the Bugatti Type 2 at the Milan Trade Fair, where it was awarded by the Automobile Club of France. It also piqued the interest of Baron Adrien de Turckheim, who hired him at the Lorraine Dietrich Automobile Factory in Niederbronn, Alsace. In 1902, he moved to Alsace, which was then part of the German Empire. He was put in charge of production here. He quickly improved on Type 2, and by 1904, he had designed and manufactured Types 3 through 7. These vehicles were labeled De Dietrich, License Bugatti. Despite selling approximately 100 vehicles in 1904, Dietrich chose to discontinue car production. Bugatti then partnered with Emil Mathis to establish a facility near Strasbourg. Mathis Hermes was the name given to the automobiles they created, License Bugatti. Ettore Bugatti ended his association with Mathis in 1906 and established a research center in Ilkirch-Grafenstaden, currently a suburb of Strasbourg. He worked on several prototypes with the German internal combustion engine manufacturer Deutz AG. Deutz hired him as their director de fabrications in 1907. During this time, he designed prototypes 8 and 9. Concurrently, he continued to work in his basement, where he built prototype 10. Ettore Bugatti founded his automobile company, Automobiles e Bugatti, in Molsheim, near Strasbourg, in 1909. He was a winner from the start, achieving great success in the 1910 Paris Motor Show and selling 75 automobiles by 1911. He continued to create new models, creating Type 13 in 1910 and Type 19 in 1911. In 1912, Type 19 was displayed under the mark of Peugeot at the Paris Motor Show, and production began in 1913. It quickly became known as Type BP1 Bébé. He unveiled the Type 13 in 1914 as a racing variation with a 4-cylinder, 16-valve overhead cam engine. He had to leave Molsheim, nevertheless, when the First World War started, first to Italy and later to France. While living in France between 1915 and 1916, Bugatti developed the Bugatti U16, a 16-cylinder aircraft engine. Despite purchasing a license to manufacture the engine, the U.S. Bowling Commission only produced 40, and the project was abandoned at the end of the war. When Molsheim returned to France at the end of World War I, Bugatti resumed manufacture and equipped the Type 13 with a multi-valve engine. The car won the Brescia Grand Prix in 1921 in Italy. It soon started going by the name Bugatti Type 13 Brescia. 2,000 prototypes of the Bugatti Type 13 Brescia were produced up until 1926. In the meantime, he displayed the Bugatti Type 35 at the Grand Prix of Lyon in 1924. It quickly rose to the top of the list of Bugatti racing vehicles, winning more than 1,000 races during its heyday. He created and produced 80 incredibly lucrative Bugatti railcars in 1931, which enabled him to weather the Great Depression and prevent the collapse of his business. From the end of 1929 to 1936, he produced the Bugatti Type 46. It was his final model, also known as the Petit Royal. Automobiles Bugatti flourished until 1939, when Bugatti's son, Jean Bugatti, died in an accident, an event that deeply impacted him. The enterprise was also killed by the outbreak of the Second World War and the Nazi seizure of his facility in Molsheim.